Hey guys, my name is Dice Rollin, and today we're going to be doing something just a touch different. I happened to come across 3C Films' video on reacting to negative reviews to some of his favorite horror movies, and I thought, since I have such a unique taste in horror movies, that this could be fun. I also want to point out that I am going to be using a variety of different movie review sites like IMDb, Letterboxd, and Rotten Tomatoes. Just to keep it interesting, just to keep it really diverse, okay? One of my absolute favorites, Phantom of the Paradise. It is a musical, it is a drama, it is a comedy, it is a parody, it is a commentary on the music industry, and of course, it's a horror movie. It's also apparently utterly confusing to a lot of people who are not used to this kind of bonkers, batshit crazy style of filmmaking. So for those of you who do not know, Phantom of the Paradise was directed and just in general created by Brian De Palma. And it was released in 1974, 1 year before Rocky Horror Picture Show. So clearly, the world was not ready. Except for Winnipeg. Winnipeg was more than fucking ready. So, let's get started with an anonymous review on Rotten Tomatoes, and they have written a book! Phantom of the Paradise is a crazy interpretation of the Phantom of the Opera where a scorned composer seeks to complete the writing of a rock opera, or rock musical, or rock concert, or something like that. Specifically for a young engineer? An innocent or unsophisticated young woman, especially in a player film. Whatever. Learn something new. I'm pretty sure it's reaching for comedy because the level of camp is through the roof. And Paul Williams does nothing to play his villainous role with any subtlety. You were expecting subtlety? That was your first mistake. At least the Weber musical that I'm familiar with. I was more engaged in this story because there was a better backstory and motivation that seemed to make the Phantom sympathetic here, and justify his actions, where the other story asks the audience to care for him even though he's a violent, murdering, psychopath stalker. But hey, he can sing real pretty. So isn't he a good guy after all? While I'll take the music from Andrew Lloyd Webber any day, I would honestly rather revisit Phantom of the Paradise. It's not a great film, but it has an honesty that I admire. Okay, you know what? That wasn't too bad of a review. It was fucking long-winded, but I appreciate your detail, whoever the fuck you are. And no, this is not a movie where you get subtlety. If you want subtlety in any musical, I don't know what to tell ya. I can understand what they mean by it not being cohesive or fitting together entirely too well, but here's the thing, it's supposed to not do that. Because you have music from Beach Boy knockoffs, you have music from like 50s Greaser era, you have music from glam rock, Kiss kind of shit, and then you have a couple of soft ballads from Sam M. Difficult to understand. I'm sure it's satirical / a spoof of sorts, but it's basically camp and somewhat flamboyant. Somewhat? Are you sure you watched the same movie? It's all the way flamboyant. It's an elaborate disaster, full of the kind of facetious humor you might find on bumper stickers and cocktail coasters. Hey, listen, I already know Phantom of the Paradise is not the best fucking movie out there, I got that, but I enjoy it with all of its flaws, with its humor in particular. I do enjoy its humor quite a lot, but I also enjoy some bumper stickers. However, what era exactly does cocktail coaster humor come from? I think you're showing your age there a little bit, Mr. Canby. And of course it's an elaborate disaster. Why do you think I like it? No one wants to see actors who can't act, singers who can't sing, directors who can't direct, and who don't even have an original screenplay to begin with. Listing the number of original films, plays, bands that are being ripped off in this laughable, non-existing film would be endless. I'm gonna stop you right there, Rice, because it does exist. Now what? From Frankenstein to Rocky Horror Picture Show. I gotta stop you there again. Well, Frankenstein did indeed come way before Phantom of the Paradise. Phantom of the Paradise came before Rocky Horror Picture Show. From the Psycho, not Psycho. See, now I'm not trusting your review at all because you put the in front of Psycho. It's just Psycho. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. The list goes on. Yes, it does, but I guess you don't have time for it. The title of the film itself is a bad ripoff, ripping off two titles wrapped in one, Phantom Paradise and The Phantom of the Opera. The director's screenwriter couldn't even come up with inventive family names for his characters because he's so unimaginative. What? What? Are you talking about the sure names? Are you talking about the verse names? What are we talking about? Just in general with the names, can I simply point out that they were given names like that on purpose? Swan, bird. Logo of Swan's label company, dead bird. Phoenix, bird. Winslow wears an owl-like helmet. Bud. Like, there's dancers dressed as birds in the climax of this movie. Did we not catch that? Did we not catch that theme? And because he decided to cast in his schoolmates as actors who can't act to save their lives. I take offense. Sir, ma'am, or otherwise, I take offense. William Finley was acting his goddamn eyeball off. Okay? And who delivered the most miserable performances in the history of film. Have you heard of Tommy Wiseau? Just the sequence where Winslow sings at the beginning and moves back and forth and sings a bad song as horribly as humanly possible equals funny for a while, boring after the first 30 seconds. Okay, this is something that I have mentioned in my full review of Phantom of the Paradise, which if you would like to watch that. Winslow is not a singer. William Finley was not a singer. Winslow is a composer. One of the things that is actually mentioned by Philbin and Winslow shortly after that scene that you mentioned is that he has a lot of work to do. That's the point. That's the point. Also, I would like to point out that there is a little snippet of a song that we do not unfortunately get on the full soundtrack release that is Meet the Devil, or if you will, Never Thought I'd Get to Meet the Devil. That's William Finley singing. Granted, it could have been heavily edited, but I thought that sounded pretty good. It's really sad De Palma didn't feel like making a film free of references to other people's works. That's a problem? That's a problem. Maybe someone should make a film called Phantom of the Theater about Hitchcock, James Whale, Oscar Wilde, Orson Welles, etc. coming out of their graves and trying to murder De Palma for ripping them off. I'd watch that movie. Oh, he's French. Well, that explains. Never mind. It's okay. It's okay. I'm part French too. The sets are hokey, as are the costumes. Chalk both of these up to the fact that Sissy Spacek was involved. Damn, alright, we're gonna throw Sissy Spacek, Carrie, under the bus? Don't you think that's gonna be a bad idea? Wait a minute, you've been here 17 years, and it looks like you just made an account to shit on Phantom of the Paradise. That's the only review you have. Carl, goddammit, I have questions. Do you have any joy in your life, Carl? What a waste of film. This movie was probably the worst movie I've ever seen. May I recommend The Room and Smiley. Phantom of the Paradise is a blend of Phantom of the Opera, Austin Powers. What? That's what I thought! Austin Powers came decades after Phantom of the Paradise. I'm gonna take that as a positive. That you think that this film was able to draw inspiration or just completely rip off a movie that didn't even exist when this was made. So if you ever happen to see this movie anywhere, do not, I repeat, do not watch it. Your time will be wasted if you do. Well, you heard it here first, folks, from someone named Gooey. Don't watch the movie. I've been lying to you. It's trash. Watch something that has more feeling, more plot, better acting. Like one of the Scary Movie movies. Maybe the one with Charlie Sheen. I don't know. I hate everything about this disco-infused take on the timeless Phantom of the Opera. Almost anything disco-related that came out of the 70s immediately dates itself, with very few exceptions. The question being, are you going to make a movie where disco represents just a small portion of the world the characters inhabit? Or is the entire world itself depicted as an inescapable disco nightmare? disco? Where was the disco? Because I think I missed it. Watch this alongside The Who's Tommy for a double feature of why in God's name did anyone ever think this was cool? Two films that will immediately be discarded to the trash heap the very moment the last baby boomer passes away. I have some bad news for you. I am infinite. I am a millennial. I will be here forever. Just to spite you. The film gives one of the most sympathetic phantoms, I agree. The long-suffering, metal bird mask-wearing Wilson. Wilson! I can't go on! I can't work under these conditions. It's ridiculous. I'm hoping that's autocorrect. I really hope that's autocorrect. But something tells me, something deep down in my cold, numb soul tells me you did it on purpose. No. Straight reigns over gay as incel Winslow smites queer beef in favor of the cishet Phoenix played by Winona Ryder. And I know. I don't believe in comments. I understand. They being sarcastic as fuck. But I would like to point out that in 1974, Winona Ryder was 3! Can we please put some respect on Jessica Harper's name? Feel like I should send an apology letter to her right now. The ending condemned Swan clearly meant to be Elton John, to death due to his associations with the devil, again, exemplifying clear homophobic undertones. First of all, Swan had absolutely zero to do with Elton John. He was actually based off of Phil Spector. Second! How the fuck can you look at the character of Beef and think that this is a homophobic movie? Seriously. Yes, Beef is killed by the Phantom or Winslow. That's because Beef took up the part of the character whose name currently, I forget and can't be bothered to Google, in the Phantom of the Opera story, who is usually killed by, I believe, a chandelier. Also, how dare you call Winslow an incel? He's way too productive. Let's move on to my second favorite, or sometimes pretty much level with Phantom of the Paradise, which would be The Frighteners by Peter Jackson. This was back before he started doing Lord of the Rings, so he was still kind of known as the Prince of Splatter. Terrible, horrible, cringe horror movie starring Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox. I wasn't expecting anything out of this movie, but this movie did not deliver. If you were expecting nothing and it didn't deliver, then it's pretty much even. I'll forget about this movie and T- already forgot about it. You petty, Ted. You're petty. I like that about you. Like that. An R-rated kids film, far too childish for parents, and the R rating obviously chases off the kids. It's just not meant for children. There's a scene where two psycho killers have sex in a mortuary. This is not for kids. Michael J. Fox's acting in this one is a very good lead up to his next starring role, Start Little. Bold goddamn words from someone who willingly chose the username Ultimate Wimp. Wait, y'all like this? What of it, Josh? I think that this will be the last of my favorite movies that we should be talking about in this video. So, let's just take a look at some of the worst reviews for Reanimator. Reanimator, of course, from 1985 by the late Stuart Gordon. Body horror, H.P. Lovecraft-inspired, batshit crazy gore galore kind of movie. Probably some uneducated, barely intelligent, worthless buffoon might, I say might, enjoy it. I have a new title. Multiple websites list comedy as one of the genres for Reanimator, so I guess someone at home is just laughing it up at this repulsive film. Alright. The movie's own rules don't remain consistent. Some instantly revived people are brainless, and some are still hyper-intelligent even in multiple pieces. The reason why our decapitated individual here is still pretty intelligent is that 1, he was a scientist himself. 2, he was reanimated very quickly after his first initial death. Also 3, the reason that the others, whom I'm kind of assuming that you mean were mostly during the climax of the film here, were, as you call them, brainless. The intelligent reanimated corpse gave these corpses, who had been dead for who knows how long, lobotomies to control them. My thoughts were, oh, ha ha ha, I've seen that joke so many times I'm not even sure I can call it a joke anymore. Humor, ha, oh ha. Once you use a joke, it's no longer funny. Someone tells stand-up comedians! Oh, and did I mention most of the runtime is just a bunch of naked men running around? Now that is disturbing, not the gore. A bunch of? Honey, you only see a few naked individuals during the end of the movie. But I guess we know what your focus was on then, huh? The most horrendous thing about this film was the ending. It was such a load of garbage. In the whole film, all you basically see is dead naked men and women. The whole film? I don't remember there being that much nakedness throughout the whole thing. But I guess that really stuck with a lot of people. Honestly, it has a stupid idea, stupid acting, and is highly unrealistic. No shit. That tends to be what fiction is. Yes, don't see this. Even if you do see naked dead people, it doesn't turn you on. How do you know? I'm gonna be put on a watch list. God, I fucking hate white gays. That's one way to start off a review. If your entire takeaway from this movie is that it's LGBT, it fucking isn't, then please reevaluate your morals. It's a shitty 80s horror movie that's stuffed to the brim with sexism from start to finish. If you truly wish to ignore all the pre-existing flaws and creepiness, it's still boring, mediocre at best. The idea had/has potential, but man is this movie shit. Ooh, gay, trans, and rep, please. Please, we can do better. White people do not interact. Too late. I do have the question of why you fucking hate white gays as the takeaway from this movie. But okay. Okay, the special effects team went off with this one. However, Mr. Fruity Sherbert Herbert was a bit dramatic and problematic. I mean, I can't say you're entirely wrong. I don't know what I expected, but it was a little more than that. Obviously, there are plenty of negative reviews when it comes to movies that I quite enjoy. So, if you liked a video like this, then definitely let me know and I can do more, because I still have plenty of movies that I love that I'm sure have been it on. And perhaps I can take another page from 3C Films and do something that's kind of the flip of this, which is reading positive reviews for movies, horror movies, that I don't like. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like to let me know. And like I said, leave a comment down below telling me if you want me to do more videos like this, something a little bit different, or whatever. Also, don't forget to share this video to help the channel grow, and subscribe for more videos like this. See you later.